for the fans, by the fans, damn it. Minty had a good time with Bogert last night. Maybe too good of a time. How's that feel?
One big piece of things today that's missing, I think, is our girl Heidi. First and foremost, shout out to Heidi, the matriarch of certainly Southbound and Crown, but in my opinion, Charlotte FC.
Yes, I agree.
So had a nice moment in the stadium for her.
That's right.
Picture up there, which is the least we can do.
Great picture.
I think she had a little something to do with the 2-0 win today, right?
Of course she did.
She's enjoying that.
Just hear her.
Yeah. No, she didn't fall over any stairs. No helmet required.
Bronico. That man.
Come in on this. I want to come on this because I was the one saying, bring Bronico into the game as a starter. The mayor, we needed it, and he brought it.
A gorilla bear.
Want to push up? What you really think about the game? You think the game was a good game, like first half?
Here for the fans, by the fans.
I don't know it.
Finish it off.
I don't know it.
Damn it! Damn it!
We have the best player, which is Kervin Vargas. We have Grayson Kalina. Everything's okay with that. Everything's gonna be so great. So, Charlotte FC, let's go. 3 points. Philadelphia, we're coming to you.
End of the match.
Privet.
I respect.
Privet. That name never gets called.
Hey, American muscle, baby.
Cut this right here, JT. We're cutting it.
So we had to stop it at 13.
It is the 13 because Taylor stopped it at 13.
All right, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, kill the. Yeah.
Kill the women?
No.
It is.
I did not say that.
What's going on? You know what's going down? You know what's going down? All right. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, broski? Happy to be on the show tonight. Man, I love seeing Heidi in those videos, man. It's always like it brings back memories. So.
Lots of memories, man. We our entire year this year is dedicated to Heidi, man. So she's looking down on us. Hopefully she's tuned in. And I don't know where the hell JT is, man. He's in Texas or something on vacation. Like I was texting him all day yesterday. He was like, I'll be there, just blah, 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 blah. So I texted him this morning. I said, check your mail. The link's in there. And here we are, man, 1 minute past the start of the show. And I haven't even got a text from him all day.
Maybe he went to San Diego to just kind of check out the rivals, bro. Get some tactical breakdown of, what San Diego will do against us this weekend.
That's right. Yeah. Got a big telescope or something all the way from Texas. Yeah, I have no idea.
He also had leads, where he would send like spies to the matches.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll show up later. Who the hell knows, man? It's JT. So yeah. I don't know. So how you been, man? I haven't talked to you in a minute, man. How's things over in the top end world? I don't get invited on your pod anymore.
Dude, you get invited. You just never want to come. You say you have to be at your job. Bro, if you really loved us, you would come to the podcast instead of going to your job.
That's right. Hey, man, I'm like, yeah, I could be there at 6 o'clock. I don't understand it, man. It's a little too early for me. Maybe 7 I can make it, but I guess it's all them other people you have that got to get home. But yeah, man, it's good to have you back, man. It's been a minute.
For sure. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to talk some Charlotte FC. So, I mean, we're flying right now, and so it's good, right? So, I mean, expectations for this season were high. 8 games in. I feel like the team is delivering, and we still don't even look our best.
Yeah, no, I feel that, right? I mean, this game this weekend definitely didn't look our best, that's for sure. But, good teams win, right? Or they pull out. The good thing about it is, though, right, before we get too deep into it, is we got 3 points on the road, right? I mean, even the bookies didn't have us winning that one. And, we got that duck off our back. Now hopefully we can continue the streak at home.
Yeah, so if we're looking at it from like a 50,000-foot view, right, we got the win, right, which is the most important thing, right? If we want to stay on pace with, a top 4 push, I mean, shout out to Esteban. We're ahead of Inter Miami, so that's great, Yeah,
I shouted him out. No, we get controlled forever.
Yeah, one of the things that, we asked for was a talisman player, and we're kind of getting that in Pep Biel and not Wilfred Zaha just yet, right? Yeah. And Pep Biel has been phenomenal for us this season. 3 goals, 5 assists through 8 matches, right? And so he's been kind of like a very positive light for us, right? Because in some games that we haven't played well, he's delivered, right? And that's important, right? So the first thing I guess we should talk about is, we didn't have Zaha this weekend, which we all thought, okay, how will we actually look, right? Obviously we were pretty confident of, Abada going on the left, Vargas on the right. And what surprised me was seeing Tim Ream back at left back and Andrew Privet starting back at center back. So,
yeah. I mean, so let's dissect that a little bit, right? What you were saying, right? So, yeah, Pep obviously is sort of standing out this season, right, for the outfield player. I mean, Kalina Sheets just keeps doing what he does, man. I was a little worried he wasn't going to carry over this year, but this man continues to make me eat crow. But anyways, Pep, we got him on a loan, right? My understanding is, I think last time on our show, I'd said that I wasn't sure if we had a option to buy, but I found out that we do. Now the question is he DP money or not, right? It's
I mean, if you look at the numbers right now, right, he's looking like a DP money type of player, right? But also, I think let's wait. He had a hot start, right? But he just needs to continue to produce, right? Yeah. I'm not expecting him to have a goal contribution every match, right? Like he is right now. But he's proving to be an important player for us, right? And so he's making our offense work. He's getting into positions, right, to be there. Either even I forgot who it was in MLS that dubbed the Pep Biel pass, where he turns quick through ball to one of our strikers and goal, right? So I'm liking a lot from his game, right? And so I just want Dean to continue to play him centrally.
Centrally is key, right?
That's where he operates the best, right? That's where he could pick a pass and be threatening for us, right? Another positive I would say off of this game was Liel Abada. He's a guy that truly has to deliver this season. And, I thought he had a really good game. this past weekend. He gave 2 really good through balls to Pat, right? In the first half, I think, and then the goal came from a pass he gave to Pep Biel, right? And so he's a guy that needs to start producing more, right? And we saw some positive moments from him this weekend. And I'm also like, okay, well, he played on the left wing this weekend, right? And so that's Zaha's position. So I'm curious to see, what Dean's thinking. Is it, well, maybe is he going to rotate wingers again? Because we saw that a little bit last year as well, where they switch sides every couple of games or within game matches. So I just, one of the things I want to see is more of Liel Abada this season being impactful, because he's a DP. So we need to have expectations of him as a DP.
Money, right? You're right there, man. Do you think, him missing the game sort of lit that fire under his ass, or, are we going to see? Because, again, I say this quite often, right? The guy that helps it, or the guy that essentially does our Monday Morning League updates graphic for us, he lives in Scotland and is a big Celtic fan. And when we signed him, he told me, he's like, he's a good player when he shows up. When he doesn't show up, you don't even know he's on the pitch. So,
yeah, well, that's one of the good things that we saw last weekend, right? Where it was an indirect message to him from Dean Smith to not start him against Nashville, and he wasn't even the first sub on. Vargas was the sub on before him, right? Yeah. So that lit a fire under him, I guess, for this game, where we saw a better version of him, right? And now we need to continue to see that Liel Abada, because at the end of the day, we paid $8 million for this guy. That's a lot of money. That's DP money, right? That's
DT money.
Right. So a player of that type of money has to come in and make a difference. Last year, we were kind of more like, I'm a little bit more patient with all of our players, right? I'm like, okay, like, let them get 10, 15, 20 games under their belt. You have that now. So now you have to start delivering on the pitch, right? Same thing with Zaha. Let's wait. He still is not clicking fully, but, new league, right? Give him some time, right? But there will be certain points where that's not that kind of threshold that we have for these players is gonna go out the window, and we're gonna have expectations, right? And that's where we are at right now with Liel Abada specifically.
I tell you what's interesting, right? Going back to Pep and Vargas, right? You see on their socials, right? They seem to have a good relationship off the pitch as well, and you can kind of see that in Vargas's play this year too. Like, he's actually doing pretty good. It's like, we used to bust on him, Air Vargas and all that, but like his shots are on goal almost, and they're not erratic shots, right? So his play has stepped up too, and I'm just wondering if what your thoughts are about his relationship with Pep off the field as well. Is that helping him on the field?
Yeah, obviously, I think that's important, right? And he mentioned it in one of the post-match pressers, where he talked about having Pep is like having 3 extra players.
Yeah.
Right. And so that you always need players that have chemistry on the team, right? Now, unfortunately for Vargas, right, having Zaha come in, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got DPs in wing positions, so he really has to step up. I don't necessarily think he played particularly well this weekend, but the matches before that, where he came in as a sub, did really well, right? And so he's a player that this year also needs to step up, and because one, he's going to have less opportunities. And 2, right, like, he's a U22 player as well. So there's certain expectations that we have for players with different tags in MLS, right? Look at Idan Tokolomati. He's coming in and being a breath of fresh air to this team, right? And that's a player that we paid good money for, right? And you're like, okay, like, we're kind of seeing why Charlotte chose to pay $2-3 million for this guy, because there's very high potential. It's a similar thing with Vargas, and I still feel like we haven't seen the best version of Vargas at Charlotte FC. And now I'm like, will we ever see the best version of Kerwin Vargas at Charlotte FC? Because he's been here since Miguel was coach.
Yeah,
right?
we're only 4 years old, right? Or 3.5, depending on how you want to count it. But with that being said, is Vargas the man that could push Abada out? Maybe we just start him on the right?
Honestly, right now, yes.
Yeah.
Having said all of that, yes, because one of the things that Dean likes about Vargas is his defensive work rate, right? Like he's always gonna come back, he's
That's
always gonna hustle and contribute on the defensive end, right? Offensively, we've seen him, right? Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he's a little bit off the pace. But one of the things that you'll always get from Kerwin Vargas, which is something that Dean Smith really loves, is that work rate.
Yeah, 100%. Now, again, right, with that being said, I mean, you brought up Idem, right? And I'm not even going to attempt to butcher his last name. These names, right? There's sort of this back and forth now, right? I mean, the fans out there, you see them on social, right? It's time to make
Tokolo Monty, Tokolo Train,
it's I feel like in our short existence, that's been sort of our thing, right? It's like Carroll over Enzo, right? And Pat over Enzo. And then now it's like Iden over Pat. And it's like, at what point do we sort of stop I don't want to say like put slagging them off, right? But at some point, like allow a player to play in the position for a couple of games, right? I mean, I don't know. I only question Pat's sort of first touch. Other than that, I think he's a pretty decent player.
Yeah, I mean, if you from a positive side, they're two different type of strikers. It's kind of similar how we had, what Karol Swiderski could provide versus what Patrick Agyemang could provide. It's the same thing here, right? Where the style of striker that Pat is, running in behind defenders, right? Scoring, right? Versus, what Idan Toklomati can offer you, right? Who can hold the ball well, can time a pass well, has a good idea of where to be on the pitch, right? They're two different types of strikers, right? And I like that. I like that Dean has the flexibility of choosing what type of striker he wants, depending on the match, right? And I also love that this puts pressure on Patrick Agyemang, because at the end of the day, if you're going to be a starting striker for a team, right, you're going to have to deliver, right? It's Brian put this perfectly on our show. I think it was last week where, like Idan Toklomati is like this new toy that like we just didn't know it had all these skill sets, right? Yeah. So we have a very the threshold that we have for him in terms of like what we can expect from him, right? Like he's got so much credit in the bank because he's so new, right? Yeah. And last year, Patrick Agyemang wasn't our starting striker. It was Enzo. So that kind of newness we felt with, Patrick Agyemang last year, right? Even though we had seen some of him the year before, and he started gaining that credibility where it was like, okay, well, take Enzo out. Let's start Pat, right? It's the same thing happening over again here with, Patrick Agyemang versus, Idan Toklomati. But I also feel like people are kind of a little bit too harsh on Pat from the get-go,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of more expectation, especially since he made the U.S. men's national team, right? I mean, that sort of puts him more into that pressure cooker sort of environment, right? Now we're expecting him to really play. We really need him to show up and that sort of thing.
Honestly, if you're a striker like Patrick Agyemang, you would want that pressure, right? Like if you're going to be a starting striker for your country and a starting striker for your team, people are going to have expectations, right? And I'd rather be a player that has that people expect to score versus being somebody that he can easily be replaced.
Yeah, so this is a good question, and I'm going to kind of reword it, right? Because I know your love for Carroll and how sad you were to see him.
Shout out to my boy. Hey, I was messaging him this weekend too, so he scored and assisted, by the way. But anyway,
it looks like he's doing really well, and I'm happy for him, man. I get the feeling that he really didn't want to go, but anyways, could you the way Pep's playing this year? If Carroll was in the team, do you think he could finally stand out and be that striker that we were looking for?
He was standing out the last couple of matches.
Yeah,
when we truly started clicking, right? There was a goal that him and Pep combined for, a golazo near the end of the season. I can't remember the team that it was, right? But it was tiki-taka football. And Karol Swiderski one-time striked it, boom, goal. It was beautiful. And I think with the type of player Pep is, right, the chemistry would have been there because quality players that are technical tend to find themselves with the other quality technical players on the pitch, right? And so, I mean, it's great. Yep, it was the Chicago 4-1 game. Thank you, Benny. Right? But I mean, at the end of the day, bro, he's not here anymore, unfortunately. So it does like I could tell you he would have a phenomenal season, right? But it is what it is, you know.
So, kind of playing off of this weekend's game, right? We all agree it was kind of hard to watch. It was a dogfight, right?
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna skip over to midfield for now and go back to the back four, right? It was the same back four essentially that sort of got us through last year, right? After Ream came in. And it's does Privet deserve to start?
Yeah, I think he does.
So do you move Ream back out to the left?
So I think there's a bigger issue than just that, right? And
Okay.
let me explain to you. And
ahead.
shameless plug to Brian that he's got an article coming out about this tomorrow, right? Like we really haven't talked about the issues in the back line so far because we've been winning games, but
Okay.
there are issues, right? Like if you look back through the last 4 or 5 games, it's a minimum of 10 shots that we're getting per match, right? One, Kalina has been as phenomenal as he was last year, this year, which is
Man,
great, right? And the second thing, and like Brian will have an article that comes out about this, like we want to play more from the back, right? Like build from the back, and we're losing balls in very dangerous areas, right? And like you saw it with Prince Ayusu, who missed a couple of goals, right? You saw it with Gucho against us, right? Like there has been opportunities for teams to really have a go at us, and with a little bit more fortune, we could be losing some of these games 1 or 2 goals easily, right? Just look back against this game against Montreal, right? Campbell was left wide open, right, in that corner kick, right? And he hit the post like first 10 minutes of the match, right?
Yeah.
Prince Yusu had 1 or 2 opportunities. He was 1v1 with Kalina, he didn't even get the ball on target, which was insane, right? For an MLS striker, I'm like, come on, bro, you at least got to put the ball right within a savings distance of a goalkeeper. But anyways, I think the problem is more with us trying to hold more possession and trying to play off the back and losing balls in key areas versus actually the back line.
It's funny
right?
it's funny you say that we're trying to hold more possession and all that, but if you look at our stats during a game, like we are way down there in possession.
So we want to hold more possession. Are we doing it? No, right? It goes back to us being a transitional team with the type of players that we have. But I think playing off the back is something that we're seeing more of this year, right? And we're losing the ball in those key positions.
Yeah, that's fair.
In dangerous positions.
But it does seem like, all right, at some point, Dean's like, screw this, right? I've had enough of the possession game. Let's go more direct over the top. And we seem to strive on that, to be honest with you. That seems to be when we score. So is the possession game really our game or what?
With the type of players that we have, I think you got to stick to what works. Being a transitional team, right? Yeah. I think there are moments where we're seeing that, it can help, right? If you think back to last year, Pep Biel started off the wing and floated in centrally. This year, he's keeping him more centrally. One for that because he's a player that, can break lines, can grab the ball, right? Can progress it, right? And find the right pass and pick the right striker, pick the right winger for a goal.
Yeah, at least on the Montreal game, I was really concerned about the lack of sort of tracking of the defenders as they went in forwards as they went in the box, right? Like you said,
Montreal had 18 shots on target, bro.
On target?
No, I'm sorry, 18 shots, not on target. But 18 shots. Yeah, that would have been a phenomenal game by Kalina if it was 18 shots on target. And before that, I think it was like 13 or 14 from Nashville. And before that, it was 20 plus. There was like 2 or 3 games where it was like right there, 19, 20, 20 something. And I'm like, dude, that is a lot of shots that are coming at, Charlotte, right? And so, again, shameless plug, Brian's got an article coming out.
Get that on tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Probably tomorrow or Thursday.
That's what's up. Brian writes some good articles. Man. So shout out to Bam, who never wants to come on the show either anymore. So he's too busy with his dropping points and everything else he's got going on. But yeah, kudos to Brian. But yeah, it is. So are we just sort of riding our luck then this year, or are we actually like doing
No, because I think the one thing that we have and that people don't talk often enough is that when you keep the same players together and they've been successful in the past, you build on that chemistry. Last year we finished 5th. How many new players did we get this season? We've got Zaha, we got Biel back, right? You know, so 90% of our squad is still here, and they did well last year. So these guys know, right, that they're going to have moments in the games that are going to be key, and they're going to pull out points. And they've been doing that this season, and we still haven't looked our best, which to me, that's a positive sign that, like, you know, one, we've had a very tough start to the first 5 matches were extremely difficult, right? And, you know, we're sitting in second in the East, right? And the calendar is about to get a little bit more favorable to us, right? To continue that push.
Right, to a point, because a lot of, like, I think after the New England game, I think in 2 weeks or a week from Saturday, then we have that big, like, push of road games, right? And I think we get like 3 on the trot for road games. So it'd be interesting to see how we do that.
Yeah, that'll be tough. Columbus, Nashville, and Orlando.
Yeah, that Columbus game for sure, right, is going to be a solid one.
Yeah, honestly, like, now looking at the calendar, it's not simple at all. I mean, we've got San Diego at home, New England at home, then Columbus, Nashville, and Orlando.
They've come out, they built a pretty good team from what I can tell, you know, and so it's, you know, they've had plenty of, in my opinion, right, they got to see Austin build a team, they got to see us build a team, they got to see St. Louis build a team, right? And they can kind of figure out, well, that didn't work for them. That didn't work for those guys, right? Let's see what we can do. And I feel like they built a pretty good squad, actually.
They have. I mean, their 10 has been phenomenal for them. I think he's got 3 goals and 3 assists in 8 matches, right? So, I mean, that's the one thing. Like, the first player they signed was Chucky Lozano, right? So San Diego has done a great job of pulling from, you know, like, from the get-go. I felt like this team has, like, I was excited just seeing that very first signing in terms of what they could do in MLS, and they're proving to hold their own. I think they're 3rd in the West. Also, I mean, they've been linked with Kevin De Bruyne, right? Yeah. Also, they're one of the teams that, like, I mean, we don't cover San Diego like that for me to know truly, but they are also exploring other very interesting markets. Like, they were the only this is like a little top bench scoop, right? They were the only MLS. They were the only MLS club that had representation at I think it was the U17 like African Cup tournament. I can't remember the name of that tournament now.
Scouts everywhere, huh?
Yeah, so they've got scouts in a lot of different areas, right? That are looking at, and I was like, wow, they're the only MLS team. I can't remember the name of that tournament they were at, unfortunately, but it shows that they're out there, you know, like, trying to find really good players in either developing markets, kind of like what Charlotte said that they were doing. And sometimes for us, it's a hit or a miss. You know, it's looking like a hit with Idan Toklomati. It was a miss with Jan Sabaczynski. It could potentially be a miss with Petkovic, right? You know, bro, we've hit on one DP in Karol Swiderski. Yeah, well, yeah. So it's funny you bring up. So, yeah, somebody was asking, Mike was asking, any role for Petkovic this year? I mean, there's opportunities, right? You know, I mean, like, we still don't look that solid in midfield. You know, there's games where Brandt looks really well, you know, and there's games that he kind of looks iffy, right? You know, Eric Williamson hasn't really come in and, you know, really, like, dominated or said, hey, like, I'm gonna pick a place in this team. Right, you know, Ashley Westwood's still not at the Ashley Westwood we expect, right? So there's opportunities opening up. I mean, do you bench Ashley? I don't think Ashley gets benched, right? I mean, if anything, it'd be like a sub, right? No, but I'm saying that outside of Pep Biel, like, you know, there's an opportunity for Petkovic. The problem is, right, that we've seen him before, and, like, is he really going to come in and, you know, be a difference maker, right? I mean, he's supposed to. He's a U22 player. So. Right. Yeah. I mean, again, right, it's crazy. But, yeah, to the point, right, I mean, I think Charlotte, though, sort of really got based a lot. I think they got trapped in Europe as scouts. Right? We don't really seem to be going down south or anything anymore, or even further out west or east. So, Yeah,
You know.
Benny's right. I gave Eric Williamson a curse. I said he'd be the MVP.
Yeah, that's it. Man's not even starting now. Yeah,
Dude, honestly, hey, here's what really happened. It was gonna be Pep Biel, but I was like, let me be different because people are picking Pep. Let me do Eric Williamson.
well, I mean,
If I would have picked Pep Biel, he wouldn't be having this season. So thank me for not picking Pep Biel as my MVP of the year.
we always thank you, Jorge. We always thank you. You know, but I mean, to that point, though, like kudos to Bronico, right? I mean, that man, you know, 4
He's
seasons,
undeniable, man.
like the haters out there, haters hate on him, man. I mean, but this man is proving that he's worth it, right? He does the shit that nobody else wants to see, man. So, you know, shout out to our man Bronico, the mayor there. But real quick before we get into the midfield, well, I guess this is technically the midfield. Does Zaha not performing make you nervous?
He's not performing to the level that we're expecting him to perform, right? You know,
His name, right?
right? Like, I mean, if you look back at that Nashville game, right? You know, Andy Nahar had him unlocked for a good portion of that game, but it took one moment for Zaha, and he got the penalty that changed the trajectory of our match, right? So, you know, obviously, if you look as a whole for what he's provided from Charlotte, it's still not to the level that we're expecting from him, but there have been few moments, right? Yeah. Now, the thing, like I mentioned, right, you got to give these players a little bit more of time, right? Like, to me, like, we're eight matches. Yeah, we're 8 weeks in, right? He just moved to the country, right? Like, with Abada, it was the same thing last year. Let's give him some time. I'm going to give Zaha some time, right? Then there's going to be a point where he's got 15 to 20 games under his belt, understands the league, and will have expectations for him, right? The beautiful thing right now is that without the best version of Zaha, we're playing really well, right? Imagine when this guy starts clicking, right?
Yeah.
We will actually have even better, even higher ceiling, right? If Zaha can get to the level that we expect him to get to.
Yeah. So we haven't touched on the midfield and mainly in the Montreal game, right? I mean, what the hell was going on with those guys, man? It was like essentially there was no midfield. It just felt like we were either attacking, we lose the ball, and then we're trying to scramble back and defend, right? You know, do we need to play somebody different that sits in front of the defenders, or, you know, what's your thoughts there, Jorge?
We just need to stop losing the ball in dangerous areas.
Easy passes, and we couldn't even make them. You know?
It's become a constant now, right? And so that's the one thing that, you know, if I'm Dean Smith, right, like how do we fix that, right? The problem is, like, the lineup that we have with Brandt Bronico, Ashley Westwood, and Pep Biel, I think that's our best midfield trio, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. He's tried before, like against Nashville. He put 3 CDMs, putting Diani in, and put Biel on the wing, and that obviously wasn't working. Right. No,
go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, like, the midfield trio to me is kind of the best that we have. Could Diani come in and do a better job than Brandt? Maybe, but Brandt's gonna give you a 7.5 out of 10 every match. Diani might give you a 9, or might give you a 5, or might give you a 4, you know?
It's funny reading these comments. So, you know, somebody's saying sell Diani and the other one saying Diani needed.
Yeah. So that goes to my point where he could be brilliant. Like, even against Nashville, he picked a couple of passes, right? Like, he intercepted like a couple of good balls, but he just wasn't good in general in that match.
So right? do you think Dean has figured out his best starting 11 yet, or is he still tinkering?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got 90% of it down. Right?
Yeah.
So I think Doumbia coming in and, you know, kind of giving him a little bit of a different attributes in that left back position is making him think.
Yeah.
Right? So that's important. Idan Tokolamati coming in and performing so well is making him think.
That's what the manager wants, though, right? To be able to, like, have
of
that
course.
problem. Right? Who do I start this week, right?
For sure. But to me, it goes back to, we know what 90% of the squad's going to look like week in and week out. Yeah. And that long term is more important, right? Because remember, under Latanza, we didn't even play the same 11. It was like a 25 match span, I think it was, or something crazy. Where we just had a different 11, right? With Dean Smith, we kind of know what to expect for the most part.
Yeah. And I like that, right? I mean, I'm sort of a creature of habit, and it's nice to know you got a settled team, right? But
I mean, obviously too, we didn't touch on this, right? But like having a guy like Malanda as well in our back line is phenomenal. That guy's just so good. Like he knows where to be, right? He made L'Keep best 11. Like I'm genuinely shocked that we still have this guy at Charlotte FC.
Well, I mean, June's coming up, so window's right around the corner. Money talks in this game for sure. But with that being said, also is Reem going to play this weekend? Is he going to start on the bench? I mean, I know there was going around that he was coughing up blood and that sort of thing.
He went to the hospital and got released and came back with the team. So tomorrow's the first training session that we get to see. So we'll know tomorrow, right? If he's out there training with the team, that's a positive sign. If he's not, then that's a sign we're like, okay, maybe he misses this weekend.
Yes, it was funny. Somebody was like, "Yeah, let him get his all his medical done in Canada. It's free." I read that off.
That's hilarious.
But so what Doc's saying here is, and I sort of agree. It seems like when Privet drops out of the team, we sort of struggle. We leak goals. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, like I said, it goes back to, with Privet in the lineup, we let 20 plus shots. I think it was against the Rapids, right?
Yeah.
And then no, I don't think he played against the Rapids. I think that was the game he was. Which game did he get a red card? Was it Nashville?
The red card was at home, right? So it was Nashville.
Yeah, so it was Nashville, right? So, like, even with him in the lineup, we've had games where we've let 10 plus, 15 plus shots in. So, I think it's a defensive issue. It's a style of play issue versus a specific defender type of issue,
Fair.
He led a penalty, right? That led to a goal, right? We were already up 4-0, though, thankfully. So,
that was a tough one to take, but I guess it was a penalty. But I'm a big Privet fan. I hope he does well.
Me too. I love that. I love that we can have the conversation of, people want Privet over Tim Ream, right? And people want Tim Ream over Privet. Those are the type of conversation that you should always have.
Yeah, and I personally, from what I've seen of Tim, I think he looks better out in the left than he does in the center for us anyway. So, so then that goes to a whole another discussion and battle of players on that left wing. Now, Byrne, what do you think of Byrne? He seems to be off a little bit this season.
It was San Jose, the red card. Thank you, guys. I don't think it was Nashville. But what did you say, sir?
I said Byrne, he seems a little off step this year. He's, last year he was stopping those crosses from coming in and everything else. And I've seen him get he got burned a couple of times this season. And it was just kind of, is he just sort of getting slower with age or?
Well, I think it also goes back to, you've added a more natural left back, right? Versus just having, him kind of play a little bit higher up the pitch and, going into a back three with Tim Ream, right? And so I'm sure that the defensive duties that Dean has him do this year are slightly different than what he was playing a bit last year as well. So,
right, and that's why one reason I like Vargas over Abada, right? Because Vargas will come back and help out, where Abada doesn't seem to want to track back as much, right? So, that's another positive for Vargas and a negative for One of the things I want to see Nate become a little bit better as I feel like his crosses sometimes, it's a little bit inconsistent, right? So we're going to bring a special guest in, Jorge.
Awesome. Who you got coming in?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Where the hell you been, man? You're in the wrong time zone, man. It's not.
Hey, I know. I looked at my phone, just got the kids out the pool here in Texas. The stars at night are brilliant bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, it's 8:30, which means it's 9:30 there, so I apologize. But I'm back in the jacuzzi, baby. I'm back in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, no. Jorge and I've been picking apart the team pretty well, man. So welcome to the show, JT. I'm glad you could join us, man. So, yeah. But no, I need
to fill this thing up.
Yeah. Byrne, man, I don't know. I think our only problem now is sort of, our midfield, center of the park, right? To me, it seems to be missing. And honestly, I don't think Ashley's been as good as he was last year. He seems to be missing in games, right? A step slower and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like the Westwood pass that we would see, right? It just hasn't been as clean this year either.
Yeah.
Right. Where he could pick a
Well,
pass from the back.
Why?
That's $1 million question.
Yeah, it is, and so I mean, I still think he has the energy, the drive, right? And it's like you mentioned, he just seems a little bit off pace. But I think that's just been the back line and the midfield in general, right? I mean, last year, like, if you think back, right, going into last season, one of the things that Dean wanted to work on was, like, let's get this team to stop leaking goals, right? And that's easier to do, right, than versus what he's trying to do this year, which is like, hey, how do we hold more position? How do we go from just being a transitional team, right? So that's a lot more work with the type of profile players that he has. So I think that's where you see kind of players kind of drop off a bit as well, right? Because it's not as simple as like, let's just make sure that we're a hard team to break down and let's take our opportunities in transition.
Yeah, and I mean, again, right? I mean, some of the simple passes that we're missing, and just simply giving the ball right back to the other team, right? I mean, at some point those legs get tired, right? And
and hopefully, what, like we mentioned, right? The positive is that even through that, we're picking up results, right? We're picking up key results.
Yeah,
we're winning at home, and we just got our first win away, right?
Good.
And I think
we got that away.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You mentioned what Vaughn said, right? You need 5 or 6 wins outside of, being a strong team at home, right? And I think any team that comes to Charlotte is like, okay, this is going to be a tough place to come and pick up points.
Yeah, I mean, even when we are on the road, I mean, we're not a pushover team, right? It's just we seem to sort of just, for whatever reason, we can't find the back of the net as much as we can in Charlotte. And I'm assuming that's because all the fans out there are so great and cheering them on, right, and getting them all hyped up. So shout out to you fans at the bank for bringing the hype. And I mean, I'm just glad we beat Montreal this weekend, right? They're 0-8. They don't. I think Caleb pointed this out. Like, they've only spent like $75,000 on a DP or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard from somewhere that Montreal has fired they've had 5 coaches in 7 years, which I can feel that pain. But now we're good. We're good. Dino, great. But at the same time, the owner of Montreal fired the head office or whatever, and now has his 2 sons running the team. And they're some straight up nepotism, just like. So it's interesting too. I mean, you think about it, MLS keeps growing, keeps getting better, and then you get some team up in Canada who is just shitting the bed. I mean, will that franchise at some point? Because, I mean, back in the day with baseball, there's the Montreal Expos, and then they got moved out. I mean, Montreal, French, they're like, Sacre Bleu, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough, like, Montreal's just a tough market, man. I mean, like, they seem to not want to invest in their teams, right? Like, you mentioned,
look at the stadium.
They're firing coaches, right? And also, you had the added negative of, like, their first 7 games were away. This was their first home match of the season because it's so cold in Canada, right? So, I mean, like, you mix that all together, it makes sense why they're dead last in the East. And having said all of that, they had opportunities to put 2 or 3 goals past us.
that they did. But, yeah, I mean, to that point, I mean, 7 road games got to be tough, right? I mean, not just, playing away, but, like, you got the travel, right, to all these different teams that you got to – I mean, it's got to be mentally draining too.
Because, like, honestly –
families for 7 weeks.
That's where I'm like, I'm even more impressed that Vancouver's, like, leading the supporter shield race, right? Which is insane.
I'm killing it.
That's the Daniel Rios effect, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Come back to Charlotte, bro.
I think he missed a penalty against Austin, and they still won. I think it was 5-1 that they beat Austin.
Hey, check it out. I'm going to Austin tomorrow.
Are you?
Nice. I thought about that earlier. I got up on some big ass pink granite rock, like the largest granite rock, the third largest in the world earlier today. And I'm like, JT, you dumbass. I could have brought like a Charlotte FC flag with me or something and it was blowing. It was really windy. I could have the thing blowing on this pink ass granite rock.
I don't know. Some Spanish just jumped in there. What are you watching,
What
Jorge?
the hell was that, Jorge?
Sorry, someone sent me a message and then I opened it and it was just.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's how it goes down. It's like once I start talking, Jorge's like, yo, let me get back on the messages and everything.
Well, they kept hitting me up about something, and I was like, okay, let me check it.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, right. We do have a 5-game road stretch in June, and I'll use your away ticket. I'm actually going to go to the Chicago game, so that should be a fun time. Yeah, but I don't know. So Montreal, right? We got the duck off our back. Is that the saying? We get
the monkey off our back.
Monkey off our back. Yeah, there you go. That sounds a hell of a lot better.
Lee just has a little duck on his back.
If anything, I want a dragon, and they can just shoot fire at people.
All I know is Lee is a straight duck back.
That's right. But I mean, it's good, right? We finally got that off of our back. That went like we got that road trip sort of bullshit out the way. Hopefully, we can continue to keep winning in the bank. And like Vaughn said, I believe on Top End 90 show. You essentially only need about 4 or 5 away wins, right, to be in the top 5 or 6 in the for the playoff spot. So, ideally, we just win it all. But as we saw with Miami, right, you come in first, you win it all, and then they end up losing to a play-in team this last year called Atlanta.
For sure. I mean, to me, it's just don't lose the focus of what the actual goal for the first part of the season is, right? Which is finishing in the top 4 spot. Finishing in the top 4 spot guarantees you a better chance of having more home games in playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. And so we saw that played a role in us getting eliminated against Orlando, right? Where we were away for the 3rd match, right? Obviously, Gianni gave away that stupid penalty at the end. Right,
What?
but it played a factor, when they came here to Charlotte, and the penalties were decided here, we won that game. The stadium played a factor, and I think players are realizing that too. And so that's another reason. So the goal this season is, while it looks like we could be in potentially a supporter shield contention, to me, I don't see that happening. But what I do see happening is Charlotte solidifying itself as the top 4 team in the East. And that's what's important, right? And then let's look at the summer and what does the team need to improve to make sure that we finish in a top 4, maybe a top 3 spot.
Well, it's going to get very congested here soon, right? With the Leagues Cup and everything else that goes on in the summer. So, hopefully we can rotate some of these players and let them rest and not just.
Soccer, man. I mean, really, just to understand the summer and the transfer window and the like I called it earlier, just the mess. The FIFA teams coming in June, and it's just summer is always just wacky or whatever. But what about San Diego, Jorge? What do you think about supposedly they are like in the top 3, 4 of the West, brand new team. What do they bring to the bank on Saturday?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, right? So, I mean, I think from a structure standpoint, they've done it really well. I mean, they've hit on their DP so far, right? On their 10, right? With 3 goals and 3 assists, I think, in 8 matches, which is phenomenal. Chucky Lozano just came back from injury. He scored, I think, last week, and although they lost. And, I mean, it's going to be a tough team to play at home, but I put us against anybody at home, right? And so the funny thing about San Diego is while their on the pitch product is turning out to be great, their off the pitch product is what's really been talked about, right?
Fans are off the hook. I don't know, seeing them against LA, man, it was
they're fighting LAFC fans. Yeah. They're chanting like homophobic.
They got all their teams taken away. I mean, not the Padres, but the Chargers are the LA Chargers of NFL now. And they just, the passion and to go against LA again. They're always seen as like LA's little brother or whatever. And now they've got some reason to be up in there. So, but to my point, they got to travel really far to get to Charlotte. So, I mean, that's no joke. That's a long flight.
Dude, they're on a
Whatever.
private plane. Like they're not walking here. Like, come on, bro. They're getting on a plane. They're sleeping.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro.
Dude, they're
telling you,
professional
man.
athletes. This is what they get paid to do.
I'm telling you.
What do you
I'm telling
mean?
you, man. I'm telling you. 50,000 feet in the air. Pulmonary embolisms and shit in your legs. Shit is different when you have to fly for 4 or 5 hours.
All right, so
Take something out of you, Jorge. That's all I'm saying. To take something out of you.
So I guess anytime we travel to the West Coast, I'm gonna just expect us to lose. Then is what
That's bullshit.
They said. Anytime we travel far, the team's gonna play bad. Okay.
No, they're gonna play bad. We're gonna play better when we travel because we are better.
Yes, we're doing better.
Jorge, faith.
I understand what JT's saying. It's got to be taxing on the body, right? So
I'm just saying it's an element. It's
You
an
guys
element.
are
It's a
just old,
long,
man.
long trip.
why are you gonna say that? Literally, what did I
These
do?
guys are athletes. What you mean? They're gonna be on a plane sitting down for 6 hours.
Hey, I'll tell you what I mean. It's 8:47 here in Texas, 9:47 over there. We got 13 more minutes to fill. That's what I mean. What you talking about, Jorge? I'm sitting in the dry jacuzzi right now.
So let's do this, right? Let's give us your score predictions for this week's game, JT.
2-1.
Drop it in the chat too, please.
2-1. I want to see. Ajimon has to start clicking. Ajimon and I always wanted the mayor, Bronico. Ajimon Bronico.
What do you think, Jorge?
I think it's gonna be what Dos Equis just said. Docs Equis 3-1. I see us winning this game 3-1. I think Toclomati will get a goal. I think BL will get 2 assists this weekend. And so it's going to be another win at the bank.
That's what's up, man. I'm going to go with lonely 2-1, and I think it's going to be Vargas, and I'm going to go with Iden. He comes in and scores in the 89th minute and finishes it.
Vargas is not going to start, right? We
don't know. But
Yeah,
no,
we're thinking he won't.
I mean, if Zaha's back, I just think because Abada had a really good game last game, he starts him again.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey,
Iden
if Abada's hot, you got to play him. When he's hot, play him. When he's not, sit him.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you got to. How do you tell that before the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go into the future,
Someone who's more qualified to tell it than us. I know that.
That's fair. So my point is, Iden's going to come on and score in like the 89th minute and score the winning goal, and it's going to create all this controversy in social media land over the Pat over Iden. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be serious.
I like it.
Serious
Get
stuff.
Playing, throwing out 3 Neil.
Yeah. Yep. Pet big. Yeah. That's it, man. Let's go. It's a win regardless, right? And hopefully Columbus loses or at least drops some points, and we ride first for a week. That'd be fun. But what else is going on around Charlotte, man? What other news around the club, right? Forget about this weekend's game.
Jamie Smith scored his first goal. Dean Smith scored
in the track.
goal,
How is Crown Legacy doing?
Not so hot. They haven't won a game, so they've tied a good amount, and they've lost that extra point, in penalties a couple of times, right? And so, I mean, they've got Gary Dicker, a new coach, right, who, he's trying a lot of academy kids, which is a positive, right? But at the same time, right, like they still haven't really started clicking as a team. So hopefully, they continue to get better, right? It's good to see Dean Smith's son score, right?
Yeah.
Cool kind of story that he's with Crown Legacy, and so also the FIFA Club World Cup is coming here. We saw Infantino here last week,
That's
which is
huge,
pretty,
man.
Dude,
I
it's
don't
insane.
care what you say about Tepper and how you feel about him, but that man brought a lot of soccer to Charlotte in a short amount of time, and
Did you hear him it's saying, putting old Fifanino from FIFA or whatever his name is on point about bringing the women's the women's World Cup in 2027 and making sure Charlotte was going to be one of the cities that got games.
yeah, I mean,
Listen, if I
He
were
put
them,
him-
I
he
would,
put
I
him
wouldn't
on, he
even.
put him on point amongst everybody in public and said, "Me and my boy were talking about this, and this needs to happen." So yeah, I mean, he's hustling for it, and whatever the Panthers are the Panthers, and hopefully they'll do better. But he loves Charlotte FC. He's like, man, this is what I should have. Well, whatever. I'm gonna leave it there, DT. DT, I'm gonna leave it there.
what you gonna say, Jorge?
Yeah, I would say if I were them, I wouldn't just be even pushing for the club, not the club world, the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2031. I would say I want the final to be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh
Like,
man,
we should have
that
the
would be huge.
2031 FIFA Women's World Cup match final in Charlotte, North Carolina.
England, say,
Yeah, that would be phenomenal.
yes. Oh,
It's
yeah.
2031. I thought
that
it was.
I mean-
I thought it was sooner than that. Damn.
No, Infantino even said, he said, like, it's an accessible city. The airport's located centrally, right?
Yeah.
So when he's looking at, I guess, the world map, right, of traveling, right? So there's a lot of positives, and we're proving to be a city that puts numbers up for games. That's the only bad part of Charlotte starting in 2022 versus maybe 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
That we missed out on the bid for a FIFA World Cup match here, because I think we would have definitely got it. Right.
Well, yeah. So, and I want to touch on this, right? A lot of people, right? So this is what I understand and sort of reading between the lines and everything, right? Bank of America is the sponsor, right? Or one of the sponsors for the World Cup, right? And so they were sort of pushing that, or the Club World Cup, I should say, right? And so they were pushing that, and, would it have been in bad taste for Tepper Sports Entertainment, not Charlotte FC, to hand that man a shirt or a jersey with Ally on it, right? It would have, I felt like from a Tepper Sports Entertainment and the Club World Club, it sort of clashed, right? Two banks in there,
They showed the back of the jersey, not the front, though.
Yeah, but you know
They
what I
held
mean.
the back. You could have
Yeah,
just put
no.
25 in the back.
I get
You
it,
know,
and I
they
like
had-
it too. Because if you think about it, I'm sure everywhere old. What's his name?
Gianni?
Yeah,
No,
Gianni.
Are you mean? I'm trying to think of a player that never played. He hasn't played in here for a long time. I was getting wrong, but whatever. The FIFA guy. I'm thinking he's probably never been given an NFL jersey, and this was I mean, Lee's point is completely correct. Clashing bank symbols, whatever, but I bet of all the places he's ever gone and given any jersey kit, whatever, it's always been soccer. And so because Tepper owns two and they play in the same place, he's like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna give him a NFL jersey. And he'll put it somewhere, or his grandkid loves NFL, who knows? But I like that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's been done, and we move on, right? But good God, man, that trophy is huge, man. Yeah, that thing's making its way around America for sure, man. But no, again, right? I mean, Tepper's bringing a lot of soccer to Charlotte. And
I disagree. Like, it should have been a Charlotte FC jersey, bro. I'm sorry. First of all, the Panthers aren't even a good team for you to be like, wow, you're getting one of the best NFL. Like, bro, like, it's not even that.
Chiefs jersey? Come on, man.
You know?
I get it. And I think it's bullshit too. But
yeah,
hey,
it gives people an opportunity to be like, dude, this is a bad move, right? So whoever PR wise, I don't care. You look at that and you say, we're not doing that. We're gonna give him a Charlotte FC shirt that says FIFA on the back, and whatever. After, here's also a Panthers shirt for you. Right?
All right, that's fair. All right, we'll move on.
Fair,
If there's, you want to just drop it in the comments, would you? What else is going on around Charlotte? Tailgate starts at like 3:30, I think, this weekend. Game, well, it's supposed to kick off at 7:30, but I'm sure it'd be like more like 7:45. Night game. My first night game this year. Then I prefer the night games. It's gonna be hot.
We've had a night game before. What are you talking about?
This season?
Yeah.
Have we?
Old ass. Hey, 2 words for you. Old ass.
Have we? Hold on, seriously now.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Against
I
San
know,
Jose,
Lee.
it was a 7:30 kickoff.
Hey, Lee, it's a long season. It's a long season, bro.
Man, I don't know. All this. This is why I would not have been able to do very well at Top Bins when you did the Come On Down, Price is Right stuff, man. Because like all these seasons are starting to merge together. When it was like 1 or 2, it was easy. Now it's like 4, right? It's starting to, yeah. So, see, thank you, Yeti Clan. That's why I love y'all. I'm not old, man. I was just drunk. That's why I don't.
Man, he ain't drunk. Nah, Yeti Clan. Hey, Yeti Clan, I'm on vacation in Texas, hanging out in a jacuzzi. That ain't got no water. That ain't got no water in it.
So, yes. So, yes, Dean Smith is going to be on the Overlap podcast tomorrow night at 8. So, if you want to listen to see what Dean has to say, tune in for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, tune in for sure. What else is going on? I think that's all I know right now. There hasn't really been much talk. There's no giveaway this weekend. I
I
don't
was gonna
think.
say, it's not a giveaway game.
No, it's just yeah,
Who?
the drag.
Because what the guy is next up. You know that. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah,
Hey, all you gotta do is get wet in a dry jacuzzi. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if the crowd will be affected by it. I mean, I guess people do go out of town, but then
in
the town.
That's the
Yeah,
point I was
I mean-
going to make before Yeti Clan made me laugh. Is for sure, man. I mean, this is CMS's spring break and so many other places on spring break. It's what is between Good Friday and Easter Sunday, whatever they call that Saturday, man. Whatever. I tell you one thing, it's going to be
really
lit.
a
It's going to
shame
be fun.
that,
It's going to be fun.
That the product on the pitch has gotten better, or at least like the team has gotten better, and we're the most successful franchise
Charlotte.
first division team in Charlotte, right? And the crowd attendance has gone down, right? And so
we've always alluded to that after the third season, how things were going to be, right, with PSLs and all that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and new things.
the
New
gripe,
things are more fun or whatever, but
the gripe still is, right? It's going in the stadium and just buying like food and drinks and that sort of thing, right, to family afford it. It's not a cheap day out, right?
yeah, that's
And-
what I mean. DT, JT here right now. Listen, the one thing that is a bad experience is the price keeps going up on all the drinks and all the food. So let's just back it down a little bit. Let's just tariff it off
Dude,
a little bit.
figure out what Coastal Carolina is doing to give like free. What is it? They're giving like free concessions.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Listen,
decided- wow.
the next
That's all
family
we can
reunion I have is going to be a Coastal Carolina football match.
That'll be the day. That'll be the day.
They're like, you're bringing 20 people here. It's like, yeah, you said concessions were free, right?
Bring the whole family. That's it.
You mean this is American football? Oh, well, all right. We'll just hang up here.
Yay, we came to the wrong sport.
We'll just hang up here
yeah,
about
let
the
me get a
concessions.
popcorn and a hot dog.
That's funny. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's good. I'm looking forward to this game. I think we
determine your rates. The cost of tickets.
It's the cost of tickets for sure. The cost of tickets, but I mean, it's good soccer Saturday. That's right. Yes, it is. But again, it's gonna be a nice day. I think it's gonna be like 85 degrees during the day at least. So,
It's a great experience, man. A friend of mine from Winston-Salem brought his wife and 2 boys to a game for the first time. And the boys are, I don't know, like 9 and 11 or something. And he told me after, he's like, man, that was one of the best fan experiences we've ever had. I mean, it was just so much fun for them, the cheering. And, we bag on it because we've been out there. We see it. Like the old boy coming out with the the blade and the sword, putting that stuff up, the knight and everything. Like, damn, man, we've seen that over and over. We see the videos over and over. But for people who have never seen it, and then to come in there and see the supporter section going off, which is always going off, I mean, it was great.
Well, watch this. I'm going to trigger JT. And the fan interviews after the game were great. You know, it's perfect. I had the best questions, the best answers, man.
Hey, I'll put that shit out there with the mic not working. That's fine. I know it was great. It was great. Sorry, Lee, that we are for the fans, by the fans. You know what? I guess you're right. No, I guess you're right. We got to go full professional. We're going to go full professional. We got to get some interns. We got to get the wireless mic going. We got to stop bullshitting. So what are you going to do, Lee? Oh, shit, you did trigger me. Fuck.
So with that said, Jorge, man, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Love everything that you're doing over there on the Top Bin 90, man. You got some great people behind the scenes, right? Maybe not love. They're doing solid stuff. You got a great team that you've put together, man, and kudos to you for that. And so if people don't know, man, like, where can they find you? Plug something that might be going down this week on the Top Bin show. And the only
we've got
is Monday nights. Let's make it 7:00.
Yeah, we'll do that for you. At least one, so you can come on.
This season.
So yeah, you can follow us at Top Bin 90. I mean, we're putting out a lot of content. The goal is 3 to 5 good articles a week for you guys to stay informed, right? We do our podcast, right? We're changing that up a bit too. Like, we want to go to like different spots and like have fun, right? And so we're going to continue to grow our brand, you know, and we'll be at the MLS All-Stars this year and MLS Cup Final hopefully as well. So we've got some exciting content around that. So we'll be in Austin too, just in different dates, JT.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I'll take notes. I'll go by the stadium tomorrow, and I'll take notes for you.
Yeah, we were there last year too, so that was fun.
Oh,
JT,
then you know better than
Lee came with us too. Remember?
Yeah, it was a good time, man. That was the last road trip I took with Heidi, man. And we had a good time. So if you already don't know, we're on all the socials at COTFC Fan TV. Fan interviews typically drop on Wednesday, Thursdays.
Tuesday.
I don't.
We're gonna drop on Tuesday. I got a new computer. I'm getting a new mic.
I don't think we've hit a Tuesday this season. So I'm just gonna say sometime that week after.
Kidding me? Man, are you kidding me?
No,
that is some jacuzzi bullshit. I'm gonna turn this faucet on.
And
you can kiss my Texas ass.